December 12, 2022. Daily Bread. Passage, Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 1 to verse 14. Key verse 14. Title, Remember the Lord. When Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, he became angry and was greatly incensed. He ridiculed the Jews. And in the presence of his associates and the army of Samaria, he said, "What are these feeble Jews doing? Will they restore their wall? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they finish in a day? Can they bring the stones back to life from those heaps of rubble, burned as they are?" Tobiah the Ammonite, who was at his side, said, "What they are building, even a fox climbing up on it would break down their wall of stones." Hear us, our God, for we are despised. Turn their insults back on their own heads. Give them over as plunder in a land of captivity. Do not cover up their guilt or blot out their sins from your sight, for they have thrown insults in the face of the builders. So we rebuilt the wall till all of it reached half its height, for the people worked with all their heart. But when Sanballat, Tobiah, the Arabs, the Ammonites, and the people at Ashdod heard that the repairs to Jerusalem's walls had gone ahead and that the gaps were being closed, they were very angry. They all plotted together to come and fight against Jerusalem and stir up trouble against it. But we prayed to our God and posted a guard day and night to meet this threat. Meanwhile, the people in Judah said, "The strength of the laborers is giving out, and there is so much rubble that we cannot rebuild the wall." Also, our enemies said, "Before they know it or see us, we will be right there among them, and will kill them and put an end to the work." Then the Jews who lived near them came and told us 10 times over, "Wherever you turn, they will attack us." Therefore, I stationed some of the people behind the lowest points of the wall, at the exposed places, posting them by families with their swords, spears, and bows. After I looked things over, I stood up and said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, "Don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes." Daily Bread Message. The more the workers progressed in rebuilding the wall, the more they experienced opposition from the enemies. The first assault was a verbal attack. As we know, a negative word can bury deep into our souls, and if we are not careful, it has the power to defeat us. Sanballat was furious about the progress in the wall, and he mocked the Jews. What they were trying to do was impossible. To bring life back to the burned stones, he scoffed at their sacrifices and their dependence on God. However, Nehemiah responded in a way that all God's people should respond. He went to God in prayer and placed the matter in his hands. The verbal opposition escalated into threats of physical violence. Nehemiah posted a guard, and again the people turned to God in prayer. Exhaustion and fear began to take their toll on the people. Some of them were disheartened by the immensity of the task, while others were terrified by the threats of the enemies. Nehemiah responded by stationing armed people at strategic locations. Once again, he exhorted them to remember the Lord who is great and awesome, and to fight for their families and homes. Our task may be difficult, and our enemies might seem ferocious. However, we too must remember how great and awesome our God is, and continue in our spiritual battles. Prayer. Father, give us strength and courage. One word, our God is great and awesome.